I'm Rick Lau for TaiwanPlus, here at a school in northern Taiwan as reservists sign up to take part in the annual Han Kuang military exercises, set to be the largest ever.
We're in Taipei City's Nehu district, where we're about to observe the first day of the 46th annual Wan An air raid drills. Taiwan's birth rate is on course to hit a record low. Plus,
Taiwan's most famous dance group has brought its first open-air performance to Taichung in 10 years.
A warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News. I'm Leslie Liao. Taiwan has started its annual live-fire military drills, the Han Kuang exercise, designed to prepare the country for war. Rick Lauert reports.
Taiwanese fighter jets rebasing from the country's west to the east in a simulation of what would happen should China attack. China claims sovereignty over Taiwan and has recently upped intimidation of the country, including sending military boats and planes into sensitive zones. These drills are part of the first day of Han Kuang exercises, the nation's largest live-fire military drills, a response to that China threat. It's not just the armed forces involved in these mobilization exercises. Across the country, reservists like these are registering to take part in these massive military drills. All Taiwanese males must complete 1 year of mandatory military service, and then they can be called up as reservists for training. It's all part of Taiwan's war preparedness. Taiwan has recently lengthened conscription and revamped reservist training, including enlisting women into the ranks. The Han Kuang drills also include responses to attacks on communications, cyber warfare, and air raid drills for civilians. Taiwan will also temporarily shut its main international airport to practice repelling an attack.
那另外一个比较明显不同的是，这一次把关键基础设施的防护 列为整个演习项目的一个重点之一。
Hanging over the week's drills, Typhoon Doksuri, now heading towards the country. In response, the Defense Ministry has cancelled a major Air Force drill.
如果因为天候的因素导致科目调整或者是取消，那么各级部队会在后续的驻地专精基地跟联合等等阶段的训练当中，那么持续的以处处皆战场的一个思维 融入实施做训练的一个概念。
Much like the yearly typhoon season, an attack from China is an ever-present threat to the lives of Taiwanese. These drills are a reminder that to face up to this threat will require a nationwide response. John Su, Sam Hui, and Rick Lauert for TaiwanPlus.
While the military carries out these exercises, there's also been an accident. 9 soldiers were hurt when a mortar shell suddenly exploded in an ammunition depot near Taiwan's port city of Keelung. 2 of those soldiers are seriously injured and are being treated in the hospital. The incident happened on Monday during an inspection of mortar shells. Taiwan's defense ministry says they are still looking into why the munition suddenly exploded. The city's mayor says emergency workers are handling the situation.
现场还是非常的紧张。那我们一到现场以后，他们还把我们拉到了所谓他们的防爆墙后面，那消防人员就在那边等待。那我们现在在把那个现场做整理。
At the same time as the Han Kuang military exercises, the 46th annual Wan An air raid drills began on Monday. I was out earlier to get a closer look at what the exercises are like in Taipei. We're in Taipei City's Nehu district. In a few moments, sirens will go off telling people that they need to stop what they're doing and seek shelter. This is all part of the 46th annual Wan An air raid drills. During the drills, traffic will come to a stop and people will need to stay inside for half an hour. The Wan An drills are taking place all across Taiwan over 4 days. Today is northern Taiwan's turn to conduct the drill. Tomorrow it will be southern Taiwan's turn. Then the day after that, it will be Taiwan's outlying islands and the country's east. And the final day of the drills will happen in central Taiwan. This year, there's one additional measure. 1 administrative district per municipality will see stronger enforcement. In Taipei this year, that's Nehu district, where we are right now. In any other district in the city, if you're outdoors during the Wan An air raid drills, well, authorities will just remind you to go indoors. But if you're in one of these designated districts during the drills, you're going to get ushered into an air raid shelter or another safe spot. The Wan An air raid drills focus on civil defense, how to get people to safety in times of crisis or an attack. And at the same time as the Wan An air raid drill is going on, you have the Han Kuang military exercises, which mobilizes the country's defense assets to simulate how it would repel an invasion. Now, this comes against the backdrop of aggression from China, which claims Taiwan as part of its territory.
有通行，有通行，请大家关闭水电瓦斯，到地下室躲避。有通行，请大家关闭水电瓦斯，到地下室躲避。
And as you can see, we're now in a basement parking lot, which also doubles as an air raid shelter. As you can see, people here are staying where they are, they're sheltering in place, and we're simulating situations where there's no gas, there's no water, there's no electricity, and there's actually not a lot of ventilation in this parking lot, as you see right now. And luckily for the air raid drills, they only need to stay here for half an hour. But if this were an actual air raid, there's no telling how long these people would have to be here.
我想这个演习视同作战，平时如果多准备，那暂时我们就会少一点灾害。我们所有的摊商，说实在能够跪在那里，跪了将近10几分钟，确实也是相当的逼真。
This year's Wan An air raid drills come at a sensitive time for Taiwan. That's because China is still sending naval ships and warplanes close to the country on a near daily basis as a form of pressure. But the Wan An air raid drills have been going on for decades now, which prove that Taiwan has been living under the threat of Chinese aggression for quite a while now. And it's drills like these that keep the people prepared just in case. The United States and Australia are holding joint military exercises with other allies. The drills kicked off over the weekend with Japan firing an anti-ship missile for the first time on Australian soil. Take a look. Over 30,000 military personnel from 13 different countries are taking part in these exercises, which are called the Talisman Sabre. They last until the first week of August and are focused on how countries in the Indo-Pacific can work together to improve regional security. Taiwan's birth rate is expected to drop to a new low by the end of this year. The government is working to reverse this trend, but that could be harder than it sounds. Sandy Chi has the details.
A moment of pure joy as a family welcomes a newborn into the world. But in Taiwan, moments like this are becoming less common, as the country is experiencing a steep drop in fertility rates. It's expected that around 130,000 babies will be born in Taiwan by the end of this year. That would be the fewest births on record for the country. It's part of a nearly decade-long downward trend. According to the Interior Ministry, 214,000 babies were born in 2015. By last year, that number had dropped to less than 140,000. The rapidly falling birth rate has worried officials and has the potential to cause serious economic problems. Not only would it mean fewer young people joining the workforce, it would also exacerbate Taiwan's aging population, increasing healthcare costs and dependency. To try to boost the country's fertility rate, the government has been rolling out incentives to encourage people to have more children. These initiatives have received mixed reactions from the public.
当然补助会有补贴一点，不过教育费其实说实在的才是花费最高的。收入也好，或者是有爸妈或者是家人的帮忙带，才比较可能。
But experts say this has not been enough.
经济的因素只是个必要条件，没有因为经济的诱因，生育率还会跌得更凶。外面必须要有人带动，这样的一个状况下去啊，对台湾来讲根本不需要有外在的任何的威胁或战争，自然而然就会自然亡了。
Of the country's 6 major cities and counties, New Taipei has the lowest birth rate, with an average of just under 4.8 in the first half of 2023. In contrast, Changhua County in central Taiwan has the highest, with an average of 7.85. Taiwan's demographic dilemma is looking increasingly dire. It's expected to replace South Korea as the country with the world's lowest fertility rate by 2035. And though the government is trying hard to reverse the trend, it may soon need to face the reality of a rapidly aging society and the challenges that it will bring. Howard Zhang and Sandy Chi for TaiwanPlus.
A teacher falsely implicated for drugging children is suing several of her accusers. Ms. He worked at a new Taipei kindergarten where the staff were accused of giving sedatives to children. The case made headlines around the world. These claims were eventually proven false, but not before several public figures, including some lawmakers, made public statements about the school and its teachers. Ms. He is now suing them for aggravated defamation, saying they caused her and her colleagues to endure harassment and threats from the public.
利用他们公众人物的优势，指控我们喂毒、喂药，让我们这段时间受到了整个社会的霸凌，同时也失去了工作，身心都受到极大的煎熬。
British pop rock group the 1975 have canceled planned performances in Taiwan and Indonesia. The band caused controversy at a music festival in Malaysia over the weekend. Singer Matty Healy criticized the country's anti-LGBTQ laws and kissed his male bandmate on stage. The festival was halted and the Malaysian government quickly banned the 1975 from playing in the country. The band cited current circumstances as the reason for dropping the dates in Taipei and Jakarta, but didn't explain further. In New York City's Central Park, Taiwan takes center stage, or rather summer stage. Eric Tsai has more.
These two dinosaurs have traveled through a wormhole in space, first to Taipei and now to New York. They're here to mourn their lost friends and to try and find any remaining dinosaurs. With the masks on, there are Trex and Triceratops, but with the mask off, there are Ding Ding and Skippy of Crispy Band. They're one of 3 acts performing at New York City's Summer Stage, an annual concert series held in Central Park, with a different concert for each day of the summer. And this weekend, it was a turn of Taiwanese waves.
I started Taiwanese Way because I have a big love and passion for music from Taiwan, and I want to share it with people in New York. And then this was back in 2016, and 2023, this is our 5th edition. So this year's theme is celebration, and I think the 3 artists, they represent celebration. So I'm happy people are here to celebrate music and, you know, first year after COVID.
Thousands came along to hear Taiwanese musicians, whether it was for the music.
I heard the preview of the artist on the Instagram and it sounded nice, so I thought I would come check it out.
Or for getting to know a bit more about the culture.
So I came here today because my boyfriend's Taiwanese and we've been just trying to explore his culture more since his parents are from there, and we have an upcoming trip in September, so we're like, okay, do all the Taiwanese things.
More than just a celebration following the end of COVID-19 restrictions, the concert was the chance to showcase some of Taiwan's culture, and for Taiwanese people studying abroad to enjoy a taste of home.
I'm from Taiwan, and I heard that there is a Taiwanese event, and I really wanted to join here, so I came here to enjoy Wawa. Yeah.
I'm from Philadelphia, and I'm also from Taiwan, and I really want, because I love Wawa a lot, so I really want to come here and enjoy. Have a nice day.
And have a nice day they did, capping off in the evening with a headline performance from Golden Melody Award winner Huawei. Piper Yu, James Lin, and Eric Tsai for TaiwanPlus.
Coming up, a Taiwan university is channeling the power of Thor. Stay tuned.
At a time when the world feels more divided, a platform for diverse voices to come together. I'm Divi Gopalan. Join the dots. Be part of the conversation. Connected where opinions matter.
For more stories from Taiwan and around the world, please download the TaiwanPlus app.
Welcome back. You're watching TaiwanPlus News. New Taipei Mayor Hou Yu-ih will lead Taiwan's biggest opposition party into the 2024 presidential election. That's after the Kuomintang, or KMT, sealed his candidacy at Sunday's party congress. Now all eyes are on how the KMT will pull itself out of its slump in the polls. Stash Butler reports.
Newly confirmed presidential candidate Hou Yu-ih gets a congratulatory embrace from the chair of the Kuomintang, KMT. The party just nominated him at its Grand Congress in Taipei as their bet for the country's top post. It's the crowning moment of Hou's political career, one he'll hope to use as a launchpad to unseat Taiwan's ruling Democratic Progressive Party, or DPP.
勇敢为中华民国、为台湾人民打出一场漂亮的胜仗，拼命向前，下架民进党，下架民进党。
But he faces an uphill battle. For weeks, Hou has been stuck at the bottom of the polls, third in a three-horse race with the DPP and the third-party dark horse candidate, Keelung. That's why some in Hou's party have called for him to be replaced. But with the Congress over, the KMT hopes it can leave that disunity in the past.
I believe that the KMT has got it right today and will move on much more smoothly than before.
With its candidate now chosen, the KMT hopes to bring fellow opposition Taiwan People's Party and its maverick chair Keelung into a grand alliance against the DPP, whose party color is green.
我们要非绿的朋友，所有希望台湾更好的朋友，大家一起团结在一起。
The Taiwan People's Party and the KMT share a common platform. Both accuse the DPP of mishandling ties with Taiwan's neighbor, China.
Each of the candidates view this as an existential election. The KMT and the Taiwan People's Party both believe that dialogue and moving closer to China will diffuse tension.
For now, Ke has ruled out a joint presidential ticket, but he said he'd consider working with the KMT if no party wins a legislative majority.
我相信在 国会3党不过半的机会很高的，还是要价值啊、政策啊、理念的相合的，所以这一方面的讨论应该要再多一点。
Hou Yu-ih has won the main opposition party's ticket. He's seen off a mutiny. Now he has 6 months to solve the complex puzzle of how to bring the KMT back to power. Scott Huang, John Su, and Stash Butler for TaiwanPlus.
Candidates for Taiwan's upcoming presidential elections have been hitting the campaign trail, and this weekend saw the ruling party candidate working to win over voters from the country's Hakka community. Speakers of the Hakka language, part of the Chinese language family, make up a large part of the population in northern Miaoli County. Democratic Progressive Party candidate Taipei though was there to campaign on Sunday. He pledged to stand by a policy that aims to revitalize rural areas of the country.
国家级的地方创生政策是我担任行政院长提出来。如果我担任总统，自然而然会持续推广地方创生。
Cambodia's Prime Minister Hun Sen declared a landslide victory in the country's general elections on Sunday after barring any viable opposition from running. Human rights groups have denounced the elections as a sham and say they were the country's least free and fair in decades. After his win, Hun Sen said that voters who spoiled their ballots should turn themselves in to the authorities or face punishment. He was referring to a law passed in June that outlaws boycotting or submitting protest votes in Cambodia. Hun Sen has been in power for almost 40 years. In that time, he's cracked down on political opponents, the media, and civil society. At least 11 people are confirmed dead after the roof of a school gymnasium collapsed in Qiqihar in northeastern China on Sunday. 4 others were injured. Most of those killed are believed to be from a girls' volleyball team made up of middle school students. An initial investigation suggests illegal stacking of materials on the gym's roof could have caused the cave-in. A number of construction staff have been detained. When you hear about nuclear power, then you might think of large facilities churning out energy. But not all of Taiwan's nuclear reactors are in power plants. One can be found in a university. Eric Gao reports on how it's being used to help cancer patients.
Ponds like this are a common sight on university campuses, but this one at National Tsinghua University in the northern city of Hsinchu is not like the others. It's a filtration pond for a nuclear reactor. That's right, these buildings house a nuclear facility.
整个原子炉大概有7层高，那是从民国47年开始建造的。那整个原子炉体厂房是非常大的。 依照我们研究用反应器这种等级，它这个厂房几乎跟核电厂差不多了。
Completed in 1961, the reactor was originally meant for nuclear research, but switched gears to nuclear medicine in the early 1990s. It's called the Tsinghua Open Pool Reactor, or THOR for short. But this THOR doesn't channel lightning. It channels radiation, which helps to treat cancer patients.
目前我们治疗最多的算是脑肿瘤跟头颈癌，主要是说我们很多的技术来自日本。
The treatment is called boron neutron capture therapy. Doctors inject patients with amino acids treated with the isotope boron-10. These are absorbed by the tumor cells. When exposed to the reactor's neutron beam, the boron explodes in a tiny, tiny blast, killing the cancer cells but not harming healthy cells nearby. One of Tsinghua's patients is Mrs. Huang. She has an aggressive form of brain cancer, and multiple surgeries have failed to stop it from spreading. Now at Tsinghua, she's being prepped for radiation therapy. Doctors carefully mark her face, so the system knows where to aim the radiation. She just has to stay still for 20 minutes as the machine goes to work. How does she feel after it's done?
还好啦，没有不舒服啦。
This treatment has a decent success rate. 60% of patients see their tumors shrink significantly or disappear completely. Over 300 patients have been treated since Tsinghua started its radiation therapy program in 2010. There's generally about a dozen people on a wait list hoping to get treated. But it's not easy to get on that list. The treatment isn't covered by Taiwan's national health insurance system, and patients can only get it if more common treatments fail.
那这个必须透过我们医院的人体试验委员会的同意。 还有就是卫福部这个药物食品管理署的这个同意，病人才能够获得这样的处置。
But officials are working to simplify the process. The FDA is getting the radiation therapy certified. That would make it more accessible, giving more patients a chance to get this potentially life-saving treatment. Leon Lien and Eric Gao for TaiwanPlus.
A leading modern dance troupe in Taiwan, Cloudgate, has been sharing its progressive art with the Taiwanese public by holding free outdoor performances. And as the dance theater celebrates its half-century, it's bringing the open-air event to the central city of Taichung, the first time in 10 years. Yu Jinghong was there.
A Taoist ritual turned art. But this performance isn't intended to summon supernatural spirits, but instead, Taiwanese people's memories of what they're most familiar with in daily life. This is 13 Tongues by Cloudgate, Taiwan's most famous modern dance group. It's currently on tour as part of the troupe's celebration of its 50th anniversary. The work is based on movements inspired by everyday Taiwanese culture.
每一个舞者回到他们自己的家乡，去看看他们的夜市，看看他们的菜市场，看看他们的庙口。我们这些眼睛，这些舞者的眼睛，去凝视这一些身体。所以待会呢，如果你有听到舞者在台上又吼又叫，不要吓到哈，他们不是发疯了或是什么，他们是在演绎一种身体的状态。
It's not the first time this piece has been performed in public, but it's rarely been as accessible as it is today, performed outdoors and free for all.
It's the first time in 10 years that Cloudgate has held an open-air performance in Taichung. Hundreds of people are eagerly waiting, sitting here in front of Taichung City Hall. And it is hot, so hot the organizers have given out fans to help the audience fend off the heat.
Modern dance isn't necessarily the first thing that springs to mind when you think of popular culture. But 13 Tongues kept the square packed throughout the hour-long performance. Fans new and old all appreciated having such easy access to the show.
虽然说我有时候会看不太懂，但是我觉得还算真的是不错啦，而且
就把台湾特有的那个民俗活动结合，我觉得还蛮好玩的。
他跟林怀民的那个路线呢，都已经是拉开了，而且他一直在创作台湾的传统的文化。
It's a year that doesn't just mark a milestone for the dance group, but also for certain towns. Cloudgate is now set to tour several countries in Europe, where they'll bring up the 100 performances mark for the piece. But none are likely to match today's atmosphere, where anyone young, old, poor, or rich could come and enjoy Taiwan's dance for a day. Kamashi and Eugene Huang for TaiwanPlus.
Wrapping up with a bit of sports news, Taiwanese badminton star Dai Ziying bagged a silver medal in the women's singles final at this year's Korea Open. Dai was bested by South Korean champ An Se-young in a straight games loss on Sunday. It was a disappointment for Dai, who ranks 4th in the world for women badminton players, but her performance at the 2023 Korea Open is one of her best on record. Thank you for watching Taiwan Plus News. Remember to download the Taiwan Plus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally today, we leave you with images of a group of wounded U.S. Army veterans planting coral in a reef off the southern tip of Florida. I'm Leslie Liao. Take care and see you next time.